In this chapter, we will learn about data-driven testing, that is how to read data from an Excel file or any source of data. And a second option that we will see how we can take a screenshot of a particular test step once it has been executed. For illustration purpose, consider an Excel file where you have two rows of data. One is your user ID and another column is for your password. In Katalon this time, instead of hard coding the user ID or password or any data type directly into the Katalon, we can directly read those data from an Excel file as well. Let's see how we can do it. So this is our test case that we have been working on. Let me modify something, as we have been changing the browser from here. So instead of using this arrow drop down, I can try to change the default setting to Firefox, and thus we can use the green button directly to execute. So go to projects, go to settings, go to execution, and here from the default execution, which is Chrome now, you can change it to Firefox, apply, and OK. So to verify, just click on the drop down and you can see now the default is for Firefox. Let us do some more things before I execute and talk about data-driven testing. I will execute the test step until post login, which is until successful login, which is I believe under step 7. And there's another thing that you can disable any of the test case or the steps. So for disabling, select the test cases that you want to disable and right click and click on disable. So these test cases will not be executed anymore. Click on save. Now for data-driven testing, now these inputs is directly into the script. If we have to make use of another data, it looks like we have to keep on changing the values from here, which is not a good test case design from an automation perspective. And another scenario is, let's say if you want to execute the same set of test case for a different set of test data, so that is where data-driven framework comes handy. And for that, we will make use of the Excel file to read the data. So the first step is you need to have all the data in an Excel file like this, where you will have a column for user ID and all the user IDs would be here. Another column would be for the password and all the password would be here. And subsequently, you can have the rest of the column for account number, amount, and any other kind of data that you want to key in and read it from the Excel file. So that is the first thing. First step is to have the data ready. Second thing is to go under data files and create a new folder. I call it as orange HRM. You can have all your data files over here. Right click on it to create a test data folder. Here I can say login credentials. Click on OK. Here in the data-driven testing, you need to now connect the Excel file that you have on your local machine to the Katalon Studio. For this, you need to click on Browse and go to the path where you have downloaded or saved your Excel data. In my case, it is in this folder, and this is the name of the Excel file that I'm going to read data from. Open it. Okay. There is some key features. As we can see in the Excel file, it has two rows of data, right? Row number 1, which is a column name, which is the user ID and the password. And another second column is the actual data. So Katalon has a feature that you can treat the first row as a header, or you can treat the first row as the data itself. If you select the option, the first row would be treated as a header and the data would be read from the second place. If you uncheck it, then it looks like user ID is also treated as a data to be input, which is not the case. So user ID and the password is a header, so I can make use of it and click on save. So that is the second step. So the first step was to have the Excel data. Second step is to import the Excel data under data files folder over here. And the third step is to go and change your script. So for changing the script, you have to go to the input field. And now you can see the value is in string. So instead of reading directly as a string data, we need to read the data from the test data value, which is in the Excel. So click on that, and now it shows you the option null of 1 comma 1. So null here means that we have to pass the name of the table, and 1 comma 1 or is the position of the data value that you want to read from. So double click on it, click on null, and it will point you to all the data files that you have under the data file folder over here. So our data is under orange HRM, and this is the data file that we have selected, and now you have the login credentials. Now let us understand what is this 1 and 1. So if you see the first value after this has been declared as a header, it means this is the first column and the first row, right? So admin it as is at the position 1 comma 1, that is first row and first column, and the password is at second column and first row, right? So exactly what we are going to do over here. For admin we will pass 1 comma 1, and for password we will pass 2 comma 1. So for admin, for the user ID, it is perfectly fine. Same treatment I need to do for, so now you can see the set text is now reading the data from a data file, that is login credentials, and reading the data from the position 1 of 1 comma 1. For password also, we need to change the data type or the value type. Test, check it, select as test data value, and now null of 1 comma 1. So click on null to indicate the name of the file where we want to read the data from, and this should be now our password is at column number 2, but the row is still row number 1. So if we go here, change the column to 2 and row should be 1, click on OK, and we have made the necessary changes into our script. Let me add one more step, that is how we can take a screenshot after a particular step. So for example, I want to take a screenshot before and after. Is what I can do is, let's say after, click on this one, I want to add another element, and let's say the name of the element is takes screenshot. Take a screenshot. It will take a screenshot, and if you after logging also, if you want to take a screenshot, you can take a screenshot. And this screenshot would be imported into your report if you run this test step from a test suite. So save it. Now to see the effect of the data-driven testing and as well as the screenshot, what I will do is I will try to run the test case from my test suite. Yeah. So let me close this first. Okay, so under our test suite, we know our test suite is over here. Open it. No need to change anything because it has a reference to the test case, and the test case has the necessary changes already into it. Another effect that we'll see, the default one. So this time I'm not going to run it from the drop down and select the browser. I will directly click the green button over here. Let us see all the effects together. So you can see now it will try to key in the data from Excel. Yes, ID and password has been keyed successfully. It would have taken a screenshot before keying the ID and password, and after successful authentication, it should have taken another screenshot, and that should be the end of our test case. So let us see the report. And before we see the report, let me show you on the test data that we have read from. the Excel file, okay, which was step number 6, set text. Yes, it has read the data, this particular data from the Excel file, and you can see this is getting a value from the position 1 comma 1 with the file that has been provided over here. If you verify for the password, it is the same thing and same information. You can see where the data is being read from. The test cases or the test step that has not been run, it will come as a cross with a red like this. And now let us see the report. So report, we know we need to go back. So this is a new folder that has been created. From here, go to your test case, latest one, and go to HTML report. So here you can see, so we are seeing the report for the screenshots. So if you can see, expand it and you can see it has nicely captured a screenshot before key in the ID and the password, and another screenshot should have been after post login. There is one key thing to note over here. This website is a bit slow after authentication because it takes some time to upload the whole dashboard. And that is the best feature of the Katalon. It will not action on any item unless and until the whole web page has been successfully loaded. So you can see the screenshot is taken successfully after the whole page was loaded and not at the time when it was still trying to load the other web elements. That's it about this lecture, and I will see you in the next lecture for a few other important topics like how we can do selecting an element from a drop down box using another checkbox, and how we can do upload of the document. Thank you.